What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some Information Society. I did a video reaction to What's on Your Mind, Pure Energy, a tune I remember from my youth. It was played on a Southern California radio station called K-Rock a lot, and even though that radio station is still around, in the 80s it was famous for playing a lot of European and UK synth-pop music at a time when many other American radio stations weren't doing that. And number one, I always enjoyed that track, and it came to my mind when I was shooting some video reactions. Secondarily, Herman mentioned that he had access to Information Society, so he sent me a big compilation folder which seems to have tracks taken from a number of different albums as well as a best of compilation. And also shout out to Flemish Giant, who did a little research when I did that video reaction. He was saying they're actually from the US, I think like Minnesota, somewhere in the Midwest, and ultimately I don't know if I ever heard anything from them beyond that tune, Pure Energy, which I do think is fantastic. It just has a great 80s sound to it. A mixture of synth pop with a bit of like breakbeat vibes, so yes, definitely a very memorable tune. I'm excited to go through this. I figure I'll just jump around and maybe click on track titles that catch my attention. And one did. I'm not going to start with it, but there's a tune in there which is Don't You Want Me, which I'm assuming is a cover of the Human League tune, but I figure we'll start with what I hope is an Information Society original, but at some point I will react to that, and as I said, I'm guessing it's a cover of the Human League track. But yes, we're going to start with a tune that's called Walking Away, and it seems to be from a self-titled album, which I would guess to be their debut album. I don't know that for sure, and Herman or anyone else who has insight, do let me know. But as to the title, Walking Away, it sounds like giving up on something, maybe not in a bad way. If you recognize that something is bad or deleterious to your own health, walking away from it can be a not only logical choice, but one that is desirable, normatively encouraged. But of course it could also be a disappointing choice to yourself. If you put a lot of energy and time and effort into something and you have to walk away, then there might be a mixed set of feelings, or maybe an overtly disappointed or upset feeling. So of course it might not be a relationship, it could be some social movement or some personal endeavor that you feel you're not up to. It feels like there could be any number of ways the phrase could go, but it is an interesting starting point. Let's give it a listen. As I said, shout out to Herman for providing this material. And I think, how many songs are there in here? Like 30? 29. So yeah, we've got a lot of Information Society to go to in the coming weeks and months. But this is Information Society, Walking Away.
It is useless to resist us.
lot. I even wondered, like, do I know this song? It sounded familiar. I think what happened is it has a very similar sonic configuration or atmosphere to What's on Your Mind Pure Energy. It has, again, a mixture of like 80s synth pop with a bit of a funky feel and what sounds like breakbeat electro from the 80s. So yeah, I feel like the sonic terrain here is quite similar to what I assume was one of their bigger hits. Surely What's on Your Mind was a massive hit. At the very least, it was a big hit in Southern California on K-Rock radio in the 80s. And indeed, I think Flemish Giant mentioned that it was like one of the most played tunes back then, if I'm recalling the comment correctly. In any case, yeah, I very much enjoy this. He is talking about a relationship, and he is, I would say, maybe a bit more bitter than disappointed. He is disappointed, and he does sound maybe a bit sad, but it's really like, if I had known who you were, I would have closed my eyes to you and not gotten into this situation in the first place. But he is referring to it as something from his past, and that it is ultimately not healthy for him. He really sounds like it's something that he needs to get away from, and he has gotten away from it because it's something that was not conducive to what he thought it would be. So yeah, he does again sound a bit upset / angry at the other party, and I enjoy how this even feels like maybe a sequel track to What's on Your Mind, where it's a bit more uncertain about what's going to happen. So yeah, I feel like maybe this could be a running theme and perhaps, a group of songs that you can link together. There's different deep dives I'm going through, like Aha is a good example, where, some of the songs can be seen, at least informally, as sequels to other ones in their catalog, because they seem to reference a chronology, a narrative that you can take, the beginning of one leads right into another, and so on. But yes, I enjoy the layered synth work. There's the like deep chords, those high, almost like striking a chime, like crystalline type melodic touches. There's the brass flourishes, which again give it a bit of a mid-80s funk feel. So if I had to guess for this track, I'd say maybe like 86, 87, 88, somewhere in there, just based on that feature alone. And then it goes into those breakbeat electro type interlude sections, which I very much enjoy. So yes, at first I was even wondering, wait, number one, this sounds a bit like What's on Your Mind, but I wondered if I had reacted, if this was a cover. But no, I've never reacted to another tune called Walking Away. So maybe it's possible this is another one they played on the radio, but maybe not as much. So as a single-digit kid, I may have heard this. But again, I think what really happened is it just has a very similar sonic composition to What's on Your Mind. So I think there's a familiarity, quote unquote, that came with it, because it was like, oh man, this is a lot of the same vibes. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. Again, even saying it's similar to What's on Your Mind, that doesn't necessarily mean this is their wheelhouse sound. After only 2 tracks and with 27 others in this folder, we'll see how typical this is of their work, and it might actually turn out to be, a minority style that they maybe scored a big hit with. And of course, it could turn out to be that this is indeed their wheelhouse, despite them maybe having some other sounds. But as I said, I'm keen to go through the catalog. Shout out again to Herman. At some point, I will react to what almost surely is a cover of the Human League's Don't You Want Me, but maybe I'll do a few more just kind of randomly. As I said, I'm going to go through and just pick some songs that seem to have interesting titles, so we'll think about that. Either way, let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.